Just a quick introduction. Hello, everybody. It's Christopher Nicholson here with Canada West and colleagues Don Sleeman and Cynthia Thomas at headquarters. So thank you very much for joining today. We've got a pretty exciting session, and it's my pleasure to introduce Rob Cupello from Czek Creative. I'll read you the script. Rob is the Chief Strategy Officer and AI Advisor at Czek Creative and brings over a decade. Now that should actually be plural with an S, I'm pretty sure. Decades, Rob, of experience in strategic advertising and brand development. Rob has worked across diverse industries from crown courts to tourism and small business, helping clients navigate the complexities and the digital landscape. At Czek Creative, the philosophy is simple. Strategy comes before tactics. Czek leverages AI and automation alongside time-tested marketing principles to ensure every effort is intentional, effective, and aligned with a well-crafted plan for maximum ROI. So should note that as well, this is a prerequisite, if you will, or a precursor session to the session on April 30th at Spring Conference, where Rob will be delivering a workshop, Strategic AI. You will see that in the posted agenda. And this is definitely set up as a first step to the AI journey. I'll also add, I've had the pleasure of working with Rob for many years, and I value his knowledge and expertise. But furthermore, I would have to say that I especially appreciate his integrity and rate it as high as anyone I've ever worked with. So, Rob, welcome very much to Canada West. It's a real pleasure to have you with us, and looking forward to seeing you in person at Spring Conference. I should also, I don't know if she's on the screen, Pamela, also introduce your colleague Pamela from Czek Creative. So Pamela, thank you very much for joining. And Rob, we'll turn it over to you. So welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Christopher. And thank you for everyone for joining. I do see some familiar names, so which is cool to see. So it's been a while since I was mentioned to Christopher. I think that him and I have met. So way back in the Reagan advertising some peaks days, so it goes back a ways. So good morning and welcome everybody. We're going to be spending the next couple hours together. I'm going to share my screen here shortly. This is being recorded, so we'll share the recording, and I'll also share my deck. So whatever I'm presenting today, we'll be sharing the deck as well. I do ask that if you have questions, I want to keep this interactive. Just pop your questions into the Q&A. There's a Q&A section in here that you can pop your questions in. Pamela from our team can monitor, and Cynthia's on and so forth. So we'll monitor the Q&A to make sure, and if there's questions, that I don't mind stopping and answering questions as we go as well. So today's session is more about just the foundation side, the essentials of, I'm going to cover a lot of stuff, but it's really sort of giving you the groundwork of a whole bunch of different things and leading into the workshop. So I'm going to share my screen here and then we'll get started because I got a lot to cover. So, and if it looks like I'm looking at a couple different screens, I do have a couple screens open here. So if it looks like I'm not looking at the camera, it's because I just have a couple screens here. So I'm just going to make my screen full and hopefully everyone can see it. Thumbs up, everyone can see it. We're good. We're good. Awesome. So today, what we're going to cover, we're going to spend the next couple hours together talking about more of the, like I said, we called it the AI essentials. It's really just getting started with artificial intelligence. We're going to cover a whole bunch of different things, and then we're going to have some fun. We're going to experiment. We're going to demo some products and some tools, and show you sort of where the potential of where these things can go into your business and what you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis. From about a year ago, we did an AI conference. Peter Diamandis was one of our guest speakers, is what you're seeing on the screen. And he said a quote that stuck with me, and he still lives by it, that he said there are going to be two types of companies in this decade. Those are fully utilizing AI and those that will be out of business. And it really stuck with me as how fast this tool, this advancement, this technology is being integrated into businesses. And I don't think he's that far off. We're seeing a real high level of adoption across many different facets of business. So I think when it first came out, most people could wrap their head around how AI could help in the marketing side. Oh, it can create some blogs and it could help my social, but it's now part of our lives everywhere, right? It doesn't matter if you're in the healthcare sector, education, ski resort, marketing, retail, it's touching every industry right now. And to me, where my passion is making sure clients are utilizing it at some level to help them is really what my passion is and how we're working with clients. Okay. So in the real struggle we're seeing for people is how do they adopt? How do they adapt? Like there's the question we ask is we hear it in the news, we hear all this. I was just saying before we logged on, I was on a webinar this morning, and literally every day there's something new being launched. How do you keep up, right? As a business owner, how do you keep up? Or as an employee, how do you keep up? There's so much stuff coming in, and you hear all this, but you don't know where to start. You don't know what to do. So, this funny graphic is how is it going to impact your business? And the person's using ChatGPT is asking an AI on how the AI is going to affect its business, right? And it's really where I did a little workshop about a week ago where two AIs were talking to each other. Like, so an AI was communicating with another AI. And that's what's happening nowadays. Like, we're actually seeing that sort of interaction where AIs are talking to AIs. And I jokingly said that you can send your avatar to a meeting. Well, you can literally send your avatar to a meeting. So Rob didn't, this is really Rob though. I should say this is not an avatar. It's really Rob here. So I'm still a very big proponent of human in the loop when it comes to AI. And we'll talk about that as well. But I understand you might be on the call wondering, how do I just implement? How do I start using these tools? And that's what I'm hoping by the end of this session, you'll just start understanding a little bit how you can start implementing some of these tools in your day-to-day and what you're doing. Okay. So what we're going to cover today, I just want to make sure everyone was on the same page and we're happy. Please, like I said, ask a lot of questions. I want involvement. If any concerns, comments, questions you have as we go along, just let us know. So first, we're going to start off, and I want to know where you guys are at with AI. Are you using it? Are you not using it? We'll have a little bit of interaction there. I'm going to talk a little bit about the evolution of AI. So before, when I teach sort of an AI course, I like to kind of take a step back and let people know this is where it started, like how it's part of our lives and how far back it goes. And you'll be surprised how long AI has actually been in our lives. So how is AI powering business? We're going to cover areas on where I can see where there's implementation that you can start using AI right away. I'm going to show you where AI is action right now. We're going to have some fun and show you some things that are in action right now. And then I'm going to demo some tools. And again, we'll give you the links to all these that I'm going to be showing. So don't worry about if you're frantically trying to write stuff down. We're going to share this deck that has all the links. And then we're going to finish off with how you can get started with AI and then answer any questions you have. So this is sort of the agenda we're going to go through. There's a lot to cover, but we are together for a couple hours. So and please, if you need a break and go grab a coffee, fill up water, please do that. Make sure that you're hydrated so we get through it. So a little bit about me. Thank you, Christopher, for the introduction. But a little bit about who I am. I'm a certified management consultant. So why that's important for me is that it's back to integrity. So like Christopher mentioned, it's actually a really important part of my business and the way I do business. And as a certified management consultant, I have to abide by guidelines. So I have to abide by rules or I lose my certification. So I have to, I work within that strategic growth side as a certified management consultant. So I come at AI a little bit different than just a tool first approach. I am the chief strategy officer as well. So I come from a strategic point of view. So before we just jump in and say, we're going to use a tool, how's it going to fit into overall workflow? How are you going to use it? How is it going to interact with anything else you're doing? I love doing this stuff. So I teach a course. I'm on webinars all the time. I try to go on stages as much as possible, and I try to get in front of businesses as much as possible. And I try to get in front and just show businesses and marketing and owners and employees how to use these tools to make their life easier during the day. I'm a big advocate of AI, but I'm also a big advocate of a human in the loop, which means that we need to be part of the process. We control, these are tools that we have control over. So we need to be part of that process. And that education side of making sure that we're not just letting, going into ChatGPT, writing something and just throwing it off into the internet. You need to go back in, you need to edit, make sure it's your tone, your voice, your brand, right? So we'll talk about that as well. And the last thing is, I don't know if anyone's a Malcolm Gladwell fan and read the book Outliers, but he talks about you need to put in your 10,000 hours to be an expert in anything. Doesn't matter if you're sports or a business owner. So I feel that's what I'm doing right now. I'm putting in my 10,000 hours. I'm learning. I'm part of a mentorship group where I'm getting taught AI. I'm probably doing you know, 2 to 3 hours a day of learning and trying to bring that back to our clients and to the community that we serve as much as possible. So I'm hoping that I can give a little bit of that back today for you guys. So my first experience, this isn't an ad for Starbucks, so even though I do like Starbucks. So one of my first experiences with AI that really made me stop in my tracks is that I was having a coffee meeting at a Starbucks in Lake Country with a guy out of Lake Country who was doing AI videos. And we had a coffee. We met for about 45 minutes, really enjoyed our discussion. As we're leaving, we're standing outside and he's like, "Do you got a second?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." So he grabs his cell phone. He's like, "Do you mind if I take a couple pictures and I want to do something?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." So he grabs his cell phone. I stand against the wall outside of a Starbucks and he takes about 5 or 6 pictures. It kind of goes around and snaps 5 or 6 pictures using his iPhone. By the time I got back to the office, so it's about a 20-minute drive, I would say half hour. I think I might have had to stop. So it was about 45 minutes to an hour by the time I actually got into my office. I had an email in my inbox with this. So he had taken pictures of me outside of a Starbucks, trained the model within an hour, and sent me these pictures of, and he sent a whole bunch, but sent pictures of, mocked me up in different scenarios using an AI tool called Runway ML, if you're wondering what tool he used, and had sent this to me. So I thought the last two are perfectly, but that first one got me pretty darn good. Like, it was pretty impressive on what, and I was wearing that a black jacket like that. So the first thought I had is like, wow, this is the easiest weight loss you're ever going to get. This is awesome. So I'm going to use these tools all the time. But it really blew my mind that within an hour, what this guy was able to create just using a picture from a cell phone. And this is in my inbox an hour later. And he's, if I have more time to train this model, I can put you in a video. I can put you in different situations. I can create avatars. And it just really got me thinking about, okay, there's these models are coming fast and furious on how they're getting trained and how they're working. So it was my first sort of and I was playing around with AI at the time and I was using it. I was, like most people, I use ChatGPT and I was creating emails and playing around and doing fun things and asking it questions. But this really got me thinking of the power of what these tools could do. And it got me down, I'll say, the rabbit hole a little bit of trying to figure out how this could implement it into businesses. So what it got me thinking about is the fact that day to day, we all go through our days. We're all busy. We're all typically wearing many hats. Our inboxes are exploding. We've got people, the phone's ringing. People are coming to our office. You got to do your daily function, whatever it is. Like, if there could be just one thing that AI could take off our plate forever, like if we didn't have to do it ever again, what would it be? Like, what could these tools help streamline a function that we're already doing on a day-to-day basis? Some of the things that kind of came to mind with me, and we'll talk a little bit about this more, is that could it be social media? Do we struggle posting and keeping up to date with social media? Are we not posting as much as we should, or what content we should, or all the channels we should? So that was one area that got me thinking about blog writing. We'll talk about SEO, but at the time, search engine optimization, blogs are big, right? Are we getting the knowledge out there that we should as a business? Are we using it as a tool to rank higher? Are we not? And are we not doing it because we just don't have the time in the day to write blogs? What about hiring? Right? Are we getting a bunch of applications and now we got to sort through them, and then we got to do the interview process? Well, there was AI. I went down this whole AI could help with that. It could actually do the first pass through of applications of applicants and make sure it matches what we're looking for. And I'm like, maybe that's an area. What about customer engagement? Are we engaging with our customers as much as we should? Are we looking at the data we have from our clients? Because it's usually a place we neglect. We spend a lot of time trying to get new clients, but our customers. But are we really working with our existing customers? Is there a way that AI could help that? When we first started the discussion with Cynthia it seems like about a year ago about this, is that the amount of data ski resorts have, right? So you guys will capture information every time I'm coming up to a ski hill, right? So if I'm scanning my pass and I'm like, well, what are we doing with that information? Is there a way that AI could help look through that information in real time and give us a dashboard, or let us maybe have some personalized communication with the people that we're seeing? Or what are just analyzing data? Do we have way too much data on our hands that we're not doing anything with? right? So it got me thinking about that as well. And as I was going through it about the last year and a half of working with AI, there's a check mark beside every single one of these. AI can help with social media, blog posts, HR, customer engagement, and analyze. It can help with all of them. But is there one, as you start thinking, as I'm going through this presentation and we move into the presentation in April, at the end of April, is there just one area that you're maybe not doing maybe the most you can because you're just busy that you can help? And there's ways for us to help when it comes to using AI tools. So as I was preparing for this, one of the outlines said we should talk about what is AI. If this is your first sort of exposure to AI at a bigger scale, the question is what is AI? And it got me thinking. I said, well, what's the best way to answer what AI is we're going to use an AI tool. So hopefully this demo works. So this is a demo. I'm actually going to interact with an AI chatbot, and we're going to ask it some questions, and we're going to actually ask it if it could explain to us what AI is. So I'm going to click out of this. So hopefully you guys can see my screen still. And maybe Pamela, you can give me a thumbs up that I can see you, that they can see Maya and Miles. Awesome. All right. So hopefully you guys can hear this. We tested it earlier in voice work. So this is a new tool, our new product called Sesame. Again, you don't have to worry about writing any of this stuff down. We'll share this with you guys. So this is a tool called Sesame, which is a voice interaction. And it's almost creepily human. The latency is almost zero, so it interacts really close with you. So we're just going to have a conversation, and we're going to ask it some questions. And one of the questions I'm going to ask it is if it can explain what AI is to us. Hey, Maya. This is Rob here. Just wondering if you could help us. I'm teaching a workshop here, and one of the questions we have is if we can explain what AI is. So could you let us know if you had to decide or explain what AI is, what you would say to us?
Rob, we can't hear what it's saying.
Oh.
So that's are you on a different screen? Because it's maybe that screen that is, because when we tested the other video, because maybe it's through a different screen.
Can you guys see my screen now? I'm just going to try
Yeah.
one more time. Okay, just wait up. Try. I'm going to refresh and see if it.
Well, hey again. Must be a good day for interesting conversations, huh? What were we talking about?
So Maya, hey, it's Rob here. I'm just wondering, we're doing a workshop here, and one of the questions was if we could explain what AI is. So what would you say if you had to define what AI is to us?
That's a question I wrestle with myself sometimes, Rob. AI is, well, it's like trying to describe the taste of chocolate. You know it when you experience it, but putting it into words is a whole other trip, right?
But what would you say if you had to give us a definition of artificial intelligence? What would you say to us?
Good point. Okay, how about this? AI is like teaching a computer to think, learn, and adapt. Kind of like how humans do, but with lots more processing power and way less coffee.
So what about where do you see AI going for business? Like where do you see applications of artificial intelligence for day-to-day business use?
Well, business is where AI is going to get really interesting. Imagine AI sorting through mountains of data to spot trends a human might miss, or writing personalized emails that actually connect with customers. It could even help us collaborate better by predicting what tools and information we need before we even realize it. The possibilities are kind of mind-blowing, to be honest.
So you can see sort of where the power of these tools. So that's a fairly new tool that's come out. So if you start seeing the application, you can go on, and you can ask it. And I mean, you most of us probably, if you've used ChatGPT, you can talk to ChatGPT. But the what's called latency, the delay used to be really long. You would ask a question, you've probably had the robotic discussions, and it'd be like and then it would start talking, and then it would stop. Now that latency is almost zero. It's almost like having a human interaction in real time. So if you start thinking about the application of chatbots, phone agents, answering the phone when reception, so you're starting to get these models that are trained to have voice conversations with people. So Sesame was actually launched to help people that are suffering from depression, and so forth, like those type of things. That's what this company is focused on, more on the medical side. But it got me thinking about how these tools are advancing. And like I said, the one thing as you see these tools, this will be like the worst these tools will ever be. They're just going to keep getting better and better. And one I mentioned earlier before we jumped on the call is that a stat just came out in the last week or so that $1 billion a day, you guys heard that right, $1 billion a day is being spent on AI. So these Google, Microsoft, Apple, well, Apple's weird. I don't know what they're doing with AI, but Apple, OpenAI, these tools, there's $1 billion a day being spent in advancement in these tools, which is unheard of and crazy on what you're doing. So I just wanted to show sort of where some of these tools are, a little bit of glimpse on some of the tools that are out there. So what I want to hear is from you guys now. I've done a little bit of talking, but I want to hear, and just maybe you can just throw this in the chat. I'm curious where you're at with AI. So if you've used AI tools, I'm, a yes or no. And if you have, I'd be curious, what tools are you liking? Like, what are you using right now? Is it mostly the large language models? Is it like a ChatGPT or a Claude or Perplexity, or are you using other tools? Are you using video tools or audio tools or any of those other sort of AI focused tools? So I'd be curious if you just can, if everyone can just take some time and just throw it in the chat. Like, what are you seeing? What are you guys using right now? Even if it's AI built into software, like all these tools that we're using, like Zoom or Teams or Facebook, they all have AI built into it. So I'd be curious if you guys can just go into the chat here and just throw in there what you guys are doing. So ChatGPT, it says the first one, it says writing the page description too, using it for writing research and Excel formulas. That's interesting. Cool. Okay. Anything else? What else is everybody else using it for? What are some areas that you're actually seeing? Photoshop removal, chat. Yeah. Okay. Email. Okay. It's cool that they're using some of the Photoshop stuff in there. That's neat. Cool. Spectra. Okay. So mostly, I think we're seeing mostly like sort of, I use AI Meta to write limericks for our daily grooming report. That's awesome. That's a cool way to use it. Job postings. ChatGPT. So we're getting a little bit of everything. Okay. And so, someone has LMS platform assist with course development too. That's awesome. We're doing that as well. So that's great. So it sounds like there's a little bit of a real cross section of tools that everyone's using here, which is great to see or great to hear. So, most are sort of comfortable in that, I'll call it the LLM, like the large language model, that ChatGPT's, Perplexities, the Claudes, like the text version of it. So it's good to see you guys are actually using some of those. And I'm always curious the tools that everyone uses, because we sometimes get in our own little bubble, and I'm always curious to sort of what tools everyone else uses, which is good. So I'm curious for your gut reaction when we hear AI in your business. So, or if you use AI day to day, are you excited about it? Are you nervous about it? Are you scared? Or is there a pushback? Are you finding there's pushback from your team or management or ownership? Or is there any of that? Are most people embracing it? We hear a lot, just as you guys, and again, just throw your thoughts into chat on here. Just so you know, we hear a lot around privacy and policy. That's one area that we hear a lot about. We get asked a lot about privacy and policy. And that's fair, 100% fair, because you want to make sure your data is secure, especially if you're putting, reporter financials or customer data and stuff. You want to make sure in there. But I'm curious if you guys can just chuck into chat what your guys' reaction is. Are you guys excited about implementing AI? Are you, is your team embracing it or not? What's the thoughts on there? If anyone can just put some thoughts into the chat for that. Is there a lot of love? Excited? Cynthia's excited. That's great. Anybody else? Anybody else more excited? Brad, hi Brad. Yeah, it is gonna. You're right. It's gonna be disruptive. That's 100% right. I mean, we're in an industry, and think about in marketing, talk about being disruptive, right? I mean, you'll see tools now that can create websites, content, manage social. They can do pretty much a lot of what we do in sort of our world. So it's good. I'm assuming most people are like cautiously optimistic and excited about sort of implementing these tools. If there's concerns, is it typically around that policy and privacy is what we hear. Like that's usually what we hear is that someone says nervous, but so that's typically what we're hearing for businesses is that they're not sure, right? So I can say that, when it first started, like there's a lots in robotics and stuff, like people worried that it was going to be Terminator and the robots were going to come and murder us all. I don't think we're there yet. I think we can kind of calm down a little bit on that side of it. But I think it's more around the privacy and data part, right? That's sort of what we hear a lot of is like, is it okay to put this up there? So one of the things that I recommend on this is like, everyone should have a policy, even if it's just employees are using ChatGPT, there needs to be a policy in place on what can and can't be put onto it. No matter no different, sorry, when social media first came out, most companies had social media policies. You need an AI policy for your business, 100%. It's absolutely simple. Like, and I'll just use us as an example. Sample size is that, we have account managers on our team. We're an agency. They're working with client data. You might get a Facebook report from a client. Is it okay for account manager to put it into ChatGPT and ask it to analyze it? If I don't say as an owner, if we don't set the guidelines and they do something, what if the client's not okay with that, right? So I think that we have to be able to just put policies around the fact that we are using it. Most people are using it now, just making sure we have a policy around it. Just have a funny into chat. It says, we blame AI on our grooming report when skiers complain about the grooming that doesn't meet their expectations. So that's awesome. That's pretty funny. So there is this, for me, I think as a baseline, as you start using these tools, make sure you have something in place. And if you need help building it, the easy answer is saying, well, you can use AI to build policies, but be careful because who knows if they're going to give you the right answer. But so I would just recommend that you have a policy in place for that. And the last thing to kind of start thinking about is it kind of previous from when I first put that slide about areas that can help. Is there any specific areas where you think AI could really be helpful? Is there areas around that you feel like you're struggling? If it's, man, if I could just have more time to do social, or I can analyze data, or if whatever it may be, everyone's going to be different. For me, my inbox is absolutely crazy. I'm on the road a lot. I'm a road warrior. I get a lot of windshield time. So I use AI, talk to it a lot. I use ChatGPT and talk, and I use that. But then I get to my desk and my inbox blown up or whatever. But like, so that one area where I'm working on is trying to help. Pamela says answer an email. So that's one area I think where, I know I struggle is that email can get out of hand. So is there a way to, use that? Or someone just said retail inventory. Great. Like AI could help with that sort of stuff. So I think I agree that no one says analytics and data, another one, great. And in these tools, if the one thing that AI LLM models are good at is analyzing large amounts of data. That's the one thing they really excel at. That's one thing that they still miss the human side. That's one area I feel like it's not there yet. It's getting way, way better. But analyzing data, amazing on what it can do. So start thinking about, areas where you see an opportunity to use AI to help where you might be, we're either struggling, or maybe we can say where there's an opportunity, maybe is a different way of saying it. Okay. So I want to jump into a little bit of what the evolution of AI is. So where does it start? Like where did AI start? And then kind of go into a little bit of what we're seeing today. So for those who maybe you're not aware, actually AI is from the 40s. So there's Alan Turing, who was working at the Carnegie Mellon University, came out with a quote that says, he did a paper actually that I propose to consider the question, can machines think? So this is where the discussion around AI started. This was in the 40s, and he actually came up, there's a test called the Turing test, and it'll be relevant in a couple slides. And what the Turing test is that it's an actual test that compares that tests an AI model to a human. And what it is, it's a text-based test. A human asks a machine, and a human, another human, text questions. And the goal is to see if it can determine, is it the machine answering or is it the human answering? So it's called the Turing test. And there's other tests that have come in now. And it's a way to test these models on their knowledge and how human they can be. So it's actually, this is back in the 40s. So this is sort of a framework, and it's not the prettiest slide, but a real framework of the evolution of AI. So when we think, we feel like it's, you know, the 2022 was when ChatGPT was launched, sort of, it kind of came out of COVID, like right out of COVID, real big growth in AI, but it's been around for a long time. Like it goes back to, you see, like the 1900s, like 1920 was the first ever robot. Like, so it's not like AI has been with us for the last couple of years. It's actually been in our lives for a long time, and you'll see areas where it's actually been integrated into our lives, right? In 2020 was generating images using a tool called Dolly, which ChatGPT used. They've changed now, but you can see that it's been around for a while. It's really exciting. For sure, there's been an exponential growth in the last couple of years, and even more so, like I said, $1 billion a day that's going into, and I can't remember the valuation of OpenAI just happened. It was just a crazy amount of money, but they're still not making money. Like, even though they're evaluated and they raised all this money, it takes so much brain power and resources to run these models that they're still not making money per se. But you can see it's been around, and know that AI is part of our lives. If we use Netflix, like we most use Netflix, well, there's AI in it. If you're in Facebook, there's AI. If you use an Apple phone, there's AI in it. So there's all these different areas that AI is integrated in, and in where it's going. The future of where people are saying is like AGI or singularity. Singularity is a big concept that people have a hard time wrapping their head around, is that we actually become one with AI. So we're not going to be using tools anymore that basically AI is embedded into us in order to, and that's how we're going to function. Is it going to be our lifetime? Maybe, but we're seeing AI now, help with longevity. People are living longer because these AI tools can maybe detect cancer before humans can. So there's all these different areas that we're seeing AI sort of focusing on right now, that there's opportunity. So and we're just going to see an exponential growth. We're going to see a massive exponential growth that's going to continue to happen, because that's where the dollars are going. All the dollars are going into these tools right now. So I love showing this chart. This is what you're looking at, is how fast it took these platforms to get 100 million users. So you'll see that Netflix, it took 18 years to get 100 million users, Spotify 11 years, Twitter/X 5 years, Facebook, you kind of see ChatGPT 2 months. In 2 months, they got 100 million users. Now, I says Instagram threads at the top. I think they cheated, because they just took Instagram users and turned them into thread users. It says 2 days. I don't really believe that, so I'd wipe that off. But you see, like, the technology adoption, TikTok, which was a fairly new, right? Fairly new, is 9 months, but ChatGPT 2 months to get 100 million users, right? So you see how fast these technologies are adopting. And I jokingly said, my kids who are in their teens now don't know what a phone book is. They don't. Well, they're going to grow up in this. Like, they're going to grow up, like my son's in grade 12. He uses AI all the time. It helps him with his math. Like, it's going to become second nature to him. They're growing up in the generation of using AI on an ongoing basis. So interesting, the whole AI in education. That's a whole different discussion, but you can see how that's going to disrupt education right now, right? So, and remember I said about the Turing test. So there's a comparison. This is a little bit dated. I need to pull a new model, but you see that when ChatGPT 2 got launched in 2019, 2020, right at the end of 2019, it was around, when they tested it, it was around the same as an average human when it comes to knowledge. And then these models are advancing, ChatGPT 3, 3.5, 4, and now you see O1, which is more of the thought learning model, research model. And now there's a new one, right? So they just tested. They literally, the results just came out. I believe the article came out last couple of days. It actually passed the Turing test, one of the first models to do it. They tested it. Now you see these models are smarter than humans, like smarter than a human expert, and it's going to just keep growing and growing and growing to the part where, you know, there's discussion of now these models have consumed all the information ever in the world. Like there's not going to be any more knowledge to consume, so they're going to start creating their own knowledge, right? So that's where these tools are going eventually. They're going to start creating their own artificial knowledge because these tools have already consumed all the data, because that's how they're trained. They're trained by the information that we put into the internet. So now once they've consumed all that, now they're going to have to start creating their own. So these models are actually smarter than, like I said, my son's in grade 12. He's taking pretty high level math. I can't help him, but these tools are great. ChatGPT is amazing. If you have any kids that are taking math, ChatGPT is amazing at teaching math because it doesn't just give the answer, it shows them how to get to the answer. It actually shows them the steps. So it's a really cool teaching tool as well. So just so you know, if you have any kids that are in high school or university that need help on it, it does really excellent math skills for sure. So where are these models advanced? So this is Midjourney, and I'm going to show you guys this tool when we get to the tool section. So this is Midjourney. I'm going to show you, like, this is the same prompt that was used for when version 1 was launched into version 6, and now they've actually released a new version. But you can see how photorealistic it's gotten from version 1 all the way to 6. The exact same prompt. It's advanced, and it's kind of funny when it first came out. I don't even know what it was trying to create in version 1, but you can kind of, like, you've had where, I don't know if you guys have used these tools where you create and it's got, like, the person has 6 fingers or it only has 2 fingers, or like you started seeing the models really struggling to create that. Now, even with the new ChatGPT model, I don't know if you guys have, anyone's used that to create images, it actually will put words in it and it gets it right. It's crazy because it's never been able to do that. So you can see how these models advance, right? Again, same prompt, version 1, like that last version 6, pretty human-like. You wouldn't know that that's an AI model that's been created. And then I think this is funny. This is a cat one. I don't know what it did in version 1. It looks like it created the butt first. I don't know what it did in version 1, but you can see how they train these models and train these models and train these models to the point where now the new one, you couldn't tell that it's not a real cat, right? So it was actually a model created from that. So, and then even from video. So if anyone's played with any of the video platforms, so this video, I'm going to play it for you guys. So this video was created using Sora, which is the OpenAI ChatGPT video model, and stitched together. But this is 100% AI created video. Okay, so I'm going to play it for you guys. So it's pretty crazy to think about that a text prompt created that video, right? So it's funny, we're just talking internally about this essay that we'll see, like, create a video and someone's hand has 4 fingers instead of 5. We're like, oh, these things are terrible. And I'm like this, I'm in awe that we were able to actually create a video like that using a text prompt, because I'm not a video creator, right? So being able to do this level of, I think we get numb to the fact how like amazing these tools are. Like they're now, able, if you have the knowledge, you can create a Hollywood type video or movie using AI, right? So, I mean, you have to have the knowledge for sure. I wouldn't be able to do it, but you can do it. Like, that's the way these tools have come. They've come such a long way that, again, I think we become numb to them a little bit. We say, well, it hallucinates, or it doesn't get it right all the time. And my argument of, well, humans don't get it right all the time too, right? So these tools have come a long way, and they're just going to get better, but you can see that the level of quality and what you can do with this stuff. So if you start thinking about, again, business, I know there's, that there's the easy check marks are the marketing side, but you can start seeing how you can start integrating this stuff into your business on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So why now? Like, why, if you're going, okay, well, why should I start integrating this stuff? Like, why AI? The CEO of Google said AI is probably the most important thing humanity's ever worked on. Like, if you listen to the experts, you listen to the people that are living and breathing this stuff all the time, they're in awe on the capability of what these tools can do. And it's not just, they're not just be able to create a fancy or a fun little video or an image. They're acting as business consultants. They're acting as, your assistant. They're acting as a doctor. They're acting as insert, right? So there's ability for these tools to really enhance, disrupt, you can use, enhance what we're doing on a day-to-day. Even from a business owner, we all could use an extra time or an extra hand, or even just, we use it even to analyze monthly financials. I'm going to show you a little demo in a bit about that. These tools can actually analyze our financials, act like a financial advisor, and actually give us back feedback and say, what are you seeing? Is there something we're missing? Is there an opportunity here? Or you see, like, and you're not going to take every little piece it gives you, but the ability to be able to do that with a prompt with our own tools is pretty powerful, right? From a business owner point of view on what you can do. So why now? This isn't a concept we're waiting in the future. It's happening right now. Like, this isn't, I'm not here to convince anybody that, that AI is coming. It's here. We're using it. It's growing. I said there's $1 billion a day. I feel like it's probably one of the biggest races right now when it comes to, I'll say, North America. I'll say U.S. for sure against China. There's a big race. It's like the first people that go to the moon. Like, that, there's a race to be leaders in the AI space because they know what it can do. Robotics is a massive growth right now. There's a company called Figure, which I'll show you, Figure 2, that's creating robots. They're doing about 12,000 a year right now. They want to be able to produce 100,000 of these. They said if they could produce 100,000 of these a year, they'd be able to sell them. Robots are building robots that are now working in plants. They're working, you'll see, it can actually put groceries away. Like, there's a race to be the leader in this. So this is happening now. Like, this isn't, hey, I'll just use AI in a couple months or a couple years or whatever. No, it's happening today. So we need to look on how we can start putting it into our businesses. 80% of businesses say AI improves efficiency, but only 20% are using it to the full capacity. I'll put my hand up. We're probably not even using it to the full capacity that we can. Right. So I think there's an opportunity for us for every business to start using these tools a bit more. And we live it. We live and breathe this stuff. And I feel we don't even use it to the full capacity that we can. Right. So I think that our team is using it more and more. Pamela, who's on the calls, is embraced it and used it for what I'll show you. You can create PowerPoints, you can create PDFs, you can go, like, there's a whole bunch of things you can start doing with AI just to help efficiency, but you can also use it from a business perspective. Okay, and then the cool thing is that the playing field's even. So small businesses, doesn't matter the size of your business, you have access to the same tools that big companies do. So we're doing a workshop a virtual AI summit we're calling at the end of April. One of the speakers is going to be a guy named Andrew. He's works in AI for Nike. And when I had a discussion with him, is that he said the same struggles that I was telling them implementing AI into small businesses, Nike was having the same thing. Yeah, they have bigger budgets for sure and more people, but the struggles were the same because they're implementing AI tools. Maybe they're not working the way they should, or they implement. And the biggest thing you have is you train a team on a certain model, and then a new model comes out. And then what do? Right? So but we have access to the same tools, right? So ChatGPT is ChatGPT. Doesn't matter if you're Nike or if you're Czech Creative, right? So the ability to level that playing field is great, and the access of what ChatGPT could give us is going to be the same as well. Okay, so we're leveling the playing field on what we can do when it comes to AI. One of the areas that I'm fascinated by, and literally I just published an article about this today on my LinkedIn channel, is that we're seeing a real shift on how people are searching, right? So this is from a pure marketing perspective, but historically we Google stuff, right? It's the verb. We go and Google. Google is the biggest player, still is for sure, but we're seeing a real shift on how people are searching. They're not using Google like these. So sample size of one, I don't use Google very little, maybe 10% of my searches. I use ChatGPT, Perplexity. That's where I'm actually searching, is using the large language models. I'm not using Google anymore. So what we're seeing is a shift. So what you're looking at is a chart from October of last year. So this, I would say, the models hadn't been out that long, but you can see that ChatGPT had 4.33% of the search voice share, compared to, still, Google's the beast. Not saying it isn't, almost 84%, but ChatGPT almost caught up to YouTube, which is the second largest search engine. So I'm curious, when the new results come in, are we seeing more and more people searching outside of Google? So why I say that, if you're a business, which we all are, is that, or you're trying to rank against, you're trying to get people's attention, right? If they're searching for ski vacations and wherever, insert wherever, are they finding you now on ChatGPT, or are they finding you on Google? And is this shifting? And that's a whole different, like, it's even a different mindset from a marketing perspective, because we've done the same thing we've always done. Well, we got to chase the Google algorithms. We got to post blogs. We have to be, our site's got to be optimized. Now, when you search, and I'll show you, we'll do a little test on this. When you search on ChatGPT or Perplexity, it's not even pulling from our website anymore, right? So what it's doing now is that it's now pulling from Reddit and pulling from industry sources. It's pulling from all these sort of other different things, right? So the idea behind that is that we need to, as a business, we need to understand that people might be searching, so we need to shift our different ways. So I saw a question come in. It said from Christopher: Rob, I understood ChatGPT is not immediately currently compared to other platforms. Not immediately. Oh, I see. I mean, current in the amount. I assume the data that it sources. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I heard something along the lines of a hockey score or something like that from the night before wasn't
Yeah.
as
So
current
yeah,
as
great
other
question.
platforms.
Yeah, great question. So ChatGPT actually was stopped. I think they stopped training ChatGPT at the end of 2023. Like, they actually stopped training the model. But what they did is they actually created what's called a reg. What it created now the ability for it to go and actually get real-time information. So it actually will search the internet for real-time information now. But the actual model itself, they actually stopped training it in 2023, at the end of 2023, but it's just as current now because they now give it access to go access the internet, so it'll pull real-time information. So I can ask it what the weather is today, and it'll tell me the answer what the weather is today. So ChatGPT is, and we'll talk about that, but ChatGPT is more of that Swiss Army knife. It's the one that does a little bit of everything. If you're wanting to just search, a tool called Perplexity is probably better for pure search, but ChatGPT will give you current information. And we're going to test it. We're going to do a little bit of a test in a bit here when we get into the tools. Okay, and keep the questions coming. Feel free to pop them into chat or Q&A, and I'm happy to stop it and answer them. Okay, so businesses, just showing the businesses that use AI are 2 times more likely, and I actually think that's a low amount, to be market leaders. And studies are showing that if you feel like you don't need to use AI and your competitors are using AI, they're at an advantage. They're 100% advantage. And it's not, the one thing, again, I'm back to, this isn't to replace people. Like, we're using AI in our company. We didn't let anybody go. Like, we're not like, oh, okay, we don't need account managers anymore because we got robots, or like, no, it's not. The complete opposite. I think we're using it now. We're able to spend time doing things that I think are higher value for our clients, right? So these tools are not here to replace. It's like, all the studies show that the jobs that are going to be created in the next 3 to 5 years, we don't even have enough humans to fulfill them, because we're not We're not creating humans as fast as we used to create. So these tools aren't going to replace. Don't worry about like, it's going to shift for sure. I literally just sent an example of ChatGPT being able to design ads. Yeah, if I'm a designer right now, I'd probably be worried, right? Because yeah, as a client, you can go in and ChatGPT will design it like 100%, right? So I think that there's going to be disruption for sure, but when tractors came along, people didn't have to dig the fields, the farmers anymore, right? So they found something else to do, right? Agriculture shifted and all that sort of stuff. So for sure, you definitely, there'll be disruption, but we're not seeing a big change that way. I see another question. Again, I hope you guys are okay if I just pop in and ask. I'll answer some questions as well as we're going. So what is the search difference when using a free version versus a paid version? For example, do you need a subscription to Perplexity to gain all the benefits from your search? So I don't have a paid version of Perplexity, and I pretty much have access to, and we'll do a demo of, I'll do a demo of search of Perplexity as well, where I find where the paid versions are different, definitely with ChatGPT. They'll Perplexity and ChatGPT and all these tools like Claude will limit the amount of searches you do if you don't have the paid. You'll time out and they'll say you have to come back tomorrow to do search. That's one thing. If you don't pay for like a ChatGPT, you don't get some of the tools like Sora was only for a time with the paid versions, or the image was only at the paid version. But there's a but there. When DeepSeek came out, if you guys are familiar with DeepSeek, the one that was developed in China, it's kind of changed the model for ChatGPT because DeepSeek gave it away for free pretty much. So now it's had to change the pricing model for ChatGPT. So they've given a lot more stuff at the paid or the free version for sure. Mostly where you get restricted is you kind of get put in a queue if you don't pay. Like sometimes you'll time out. Or I might say, yeah, you're done your searches, those sort of, that's where, but the relevancy of like the current, I think you have, I have to double check, but I think with chat, you get access to pretty much all the versions if it's unpaid. There might be some ones that you don't, like that, maybe like some of the more deep research versions of ChatGPT you might not get, but I argue that unless you're doing lots of computation, you probably don't need it anyways. But I think on a baseline, you could probably get away with some of the free versions. But if you have to pay, I don't know, I think ChatGPT is $30 US a month, which is unfortunately like $400 Canadian right now with exchange rate. But it's not a lot of investment, but it's a good question. You can do a lot of the tools that I show and that I demo. There's lots of free versions of it that you can do. You can even create a chatbot and not even pay for it. Like I'll show you that in a second as well in the tools. But great question on that. So how can AI, and keep the questions coming, please do. So how can AI power your business, right? So where areas? So there's 4 areas that I want you guys thinking about where you can start doing it. You can start using these tools. So number 1 is, I'll call it the operations side. So streamlining operations. So these are things like, any repetitive tasks like email or inbound calls or scheduling or inventory management. These are really, there's powerful tools like Zapier and Make and all those sort of tools that can start automating this sort of stuff for you. So and there's a difference between automation and AI. I do want to make a distinction. Just because you're automating a workflow or a process doesn't necessarily mean you're using AI. Right? So as simple as an email comes in and sends a reply that says, thank you for emailing me. That's not AI, that's automation. AI would be, hey, Pamela, thank you for emailing me. I've noticed you've done this. I've seen you've clicked on our email or you've read our, but like that's AI because it's going to start pulling in information, more information. It's going to be a smart answer, for lack of a better word. That's where there's AI integration. So AI can start analyzing. It can start helping with inventory management. It can inbound calls. I'll show you that. There's a tool out there that will answer calls and book meetings or book schedule, integrate with your Calendly and all that sort of stuff. So one area where AI is really excelled is streamlining that operation side. The other side is customer service. I think that we work with our clients a lot about making sure that we're delivering the best, most customized, personalized response to our clients. It could, a chatbot, as simple as a chatbot. Right now, everybody's website should have a chatbot on it. There's zero excuse not to have a chatbot because it works 24/7, right? You can turn it on and off. It could have, you can make it FAQ focused, so it's only given information that you control, or you can have it more generative, which means that it will actually act like a human, for lack of a better word, and interact with people. And if you're worried about, back and forth, and you don't want, you can give it a certain limit that says, if this questions get asked, then push it through to a phone or whatever it may be as well, right? So you can start interacting. And most people, I think, I'll be curious how many people on the call actually have chatbots built into their website. But if you don't, I recommend you do. Right, at a very simple form, it could be an FAQ type of chatbot for you. These are really easy to build nowadays, but everyone should have one of those. Okay. The other side is data-driven decisions. So these tools, and I apologize that this graphic is blurry. I just noticed at the end, I didn't have time to change it, but these tools now, these AI tools can give us really good insight, right? So they can start looking at things like predictive analytics and audience insights and sentiment analysis. And, so sentiment analysis, are people talking about us in the World Wide Web? What are they saying about our experience, about the experience they came? It could track that sort of stuff. They can give you analytics. They can come back and say, hey, because not only a tool like Google Analytics is great. It's going to give you, here many people visited your site, here's where they're from, but then what? Right? So these tools are great you can ask them to analyze for you and say, hey, based on this data about visits to my website, or visits to today that we had at our restaurant, or the scan their passes, tell me something. Like, tell me, what do you see? There's an opportunity. Am I missing something? What does this mean? Why am I getting visitors here? Like, you can start interacting with it at a very high level to analyze really high level data-driven decisions. Okay, so it's a really neat, AI is really good at that, because think about the way AI is trained, these models are trained. I use an analogy of a doctor. So a doctor's knowledge comes from the many patients it's seen. Say a doctor sees, I don't know, 100 patients, 1,000 patients. Okay, so that's his experience, or her experience is within that she's only seen 1,000 patients. Well, AI medical is trained on every doctor, every report ever done in the world. So it's got the knowledge of every doctor in the world, every patient in the world, right? It's no different when it comes to analyzing this sort of information. It's learned from all the information it's been able to consume. There's no way that I just can't consume that much data that an AI has consumed all the information in the world. I can't do that. Maybe one day they put a chip in my brain. And the last part is marketing. And this is sort of I feel like the low hanging fruit for AI is that it can help analyze your website. It can help build blog posts. It can help build social media. It can even monitor social media. There's a tool that you'll see on the right-hand side here. It's called Soshi. It's a tool that actually will go in and create content, post content, all that sort of stuff for you as well on social media. There is a caveat, I do say, again, I'm all about human in the loop. I'm not saying go and take all this information, throw it into an AI and just chuck it on your social media, because you guys all know what's going to happen. You're going to lose that engagement. You're going to lose that person that you're going to lose your brand on it. Now, you can train these models to learn your tone, learn your brand, and it gets better and better and better. Like I've used now ChatGPT for, over a year and a half. Sounds pretty close to me now. Like it's pretty hard now to differentiate if did Rob write it or did ChatGPT write it. But sometimes it goes off the rails, and I'm like, I would never use that word or that sort of thing. So you just got to keep training them. But the marketing side is probably the low hanging fruit on how you can start using this into your business on creating. And we're going to do a demo. We'll have time here of like how it can analyze your website. It could create content. It can build your content calendar, the whole 9 yards for you. So anyone that follows me on LinkedIn, you probably get annoyed how much I post about AI, but I use these tools because I'm not a great writer. So what I can do is I can go into these tools. I can just talk and say, here's my thought. Here's what I'm thinking. It drafts, and I say, can you optimize it for LinkedIn? That's the platform I use. You'll come back with a result. I'll go back and say, I wouldn't say this. I would probably my tone, whatever. Revise it, put it into LinkedIn, I still, the human, I still copy and paste in LinkedIn. I can automate that. I can put it into LinkedIn. It creates an image post, right? So, and I do it typically Sunday, Monday. I'll post for the week. I schedule my posts. If something happens during the week that's like, oh, I should report on this, I'll jump in and do it. But that's how I manage my LinkedIn calendar by doing right now. And it's mostly using ChatGPT and Midjourney, but for images. So that's marketing is probably the low hanging fruit for you to start using these tools. Okay. And think about AI is like a coworker, right? So to me is you need to treat these tools like a human. So don't think that you can go to ChatGPT or any of these tools and say, create me a blog post and think it's going to knock it out of the park. Because if I turn to someone in my office and said, hey, Pamela, can you create me a blog post? She'd be like, I might have some questions for you. What do you want to do? Who's the audience? Like, right? So these tools are the exact same way. Don't like, you need to give it the information. You need to prompt it properly. You need to give it the proper information in order to get results back. It's called, there's a term called slop, which is garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you're putting garbage in these tools, guess what you're going to get back? You're going to get garbage back, right? So you have to be able to give it. And again, I always think of these tools like humans, and you need to train them and you need to give them the right information. I'm bad. I'm funny. I'm like, hey, good morning. I say please and thank you. I'm like, I actually treat it like I do. And I always jokingly say I do it because when they come and take over the world, they're going to say, well, Rob was nice to us, so we're going to leave him alone. But the fact that I treat it like a human, and there's varying reports on, some people say don't do that, treat them like machines, you get better results. I don't know. I have a hard time doing it. That's just my personality. It's the way I treat it like I would treat it. And I feel like I would get, that's the response I get back to it as well. So just make sure that you use these as these tools properly. Okay. So how do we get started with AI? And then I do want to leave some time to do some demos and answer questions, because I think you guys will like seeing sort of some of the demos and how to use these. So getting started, do know that AI is here to stay. I say that the easiest thing is for me is like, just get started. A lot of these tools, they have free versions of them. You're not going to break them. Go play around with them. Like, go experiment with them. Go play around. It's not a trend. Like, it's not like, I remember when, websites first came out and people are like, you don't book that way. You don't book hotels that way, right? I'm like, well, now imagine if we didn't have websites or whatever, right? So AI is not a trend. It's a new normal. It's embedded in everything we do. It's going to keep growing. It's going to keep being part. The cool thing is it's starting to get embedded in tools that we're already using. So if we're using MailChimp, for instance, one that you say MailChimp, you're sending lots of emails out. Well, MailChimp now has AI built into it. So it's like they're already building a lot of these to Facebook, has AI built into it. Like, so a lot of these tools are actually getting AI built right into them right now. I say small steps, like you hear a lot of stuff. I say turn off the noise and just baby steps, right? Just try one tool. Like if you're using ChatGPT already, well, let's try to add one more thing. Is there something else that we can do? Is there another tool we can do? Is there another area of ChatGPT we can explore? Is there like, so just take baby steps in this stuff. It doesn't have to be daunting, like, right? So just little things. And the nice thing is you don't need to be a tech wizard. I'm not techie at all. And I've been able to build, like, I built websites. Like and again, I'm the loser that goes on a weekend and plays around with these tools and do these sort of things. But I'm like, I've been able to build a website or ads or whatever, like PDFs, or I'm working now on sort of the automation side. Like, so just go and explore these sort of things, right? So, and you don't have to be, like, a lot of them are text or voice based. So you don't need to know code. You just don't need to know any of that stuff, right? So, and I say, for me, like I said, try one new tool. That's my ask to you guys, is that between now, we get together again on the 30th, I think Christopher said, is that, like, just try one new tool this week or the next couple of weeks or the next couple, weeks, sorry, is that, if there's a tool that you see today or something you might want to try, even within ChatGPT, they're releasing new things all the time. Just try one new tool, or maybe automate one thing, or like, yeah, you know what, I need to post more. I need to get back on my email quicker, or whatever it may be. Just use one tool. And even email, like Gmail, if you use a Google Suite or Microsoft, they all have like co-pilots. They have AI built into them already. It's not like you need to go get a new tool. A lot of these tools have these AI tools built into it. But the biggest thing for me is, when I say strategy for tactics, let's measure measure the impact. Let's not just do this to do it, right? Because we're all busy. So let's make sure that we have a plan on, okay, hey, we're going to start automating our social media. I'm just going to use that because that's sort of the easy one for people to wrap their head around. We're going to start automating their social media. Okay, what's the metrics we want to see? Are we getting more engagements, or are we just causing more noise? Are people clicking on the ads, or are they not? Like, so let's make sure that we're tracking the stuff that we're doing to make sure that we're actually having impact. We're not just adding more stuff to our day and saying at the end of the day, go, oh, now I got less done because now I'm trying to learn this tool, right? Let's make sure we have impact. Okay. And the last thing we'll sort of cover before we jump into sort of some of the tools is that some of the common questions or fears that we hear. And there is, I get it. I kind of jokingly said, I feel like they're excuses, but I could see, like some of them, I could see that there are some issues we need to think about. Number one, we hear a lot about is cost. Like, how much is this stuff going to cost? Right now, it's literally the cheapest software you can buy, or the tools you can buy. Like, a lot of these tools are either free or really, really budget friendly. Like I said, like ChatGPT, even you don't need the $200 a month version. It's 20 or 30 bucks US, I think it is, whatever it is, like whatever, 40 bucks Canadian, whatever, for a tool. Right? I even argue at $200 that supposedly the $200 model is going to have more of the agents built into it. I'd pay $200 a month easily if it's actually going to be an assistant or an agent that's going to help me, right? So, but at the very small level, a lot of these tools are either free or they're at least really budget friendly. Okay, so cost shouldn't be an issue. There's definitely thoughts around, are they complicated, right? Are these tools too hard for me to use? I don't know how to code. Absolutely not. There's no code needed. Most are either text. Now they're moving in. Most of them are moving to voice. So if you're more comfortable talking like I am than typing, you can talk to these tools, right? So ChatGPT, if you have it on your phone, you can talk to it, or even your computer. But the phone version, I think, works great, right? So I have a lot of conversations with ChatGPT on my phone. So and you don't need any coding whatsoever to use these. Definitely, there's a data privacy issue. I would say don't share anything that would be private, like you wouldn't do on a day-to-day anyways. But there is the ability to turn off sharing on these tools. So again, ChatGPT, there's a setting in ChatGPT that you can click off that it won't take your information to learn. It'll give you the answer, but it won't learn on that information. So it won't be shared anywhere. Right. So if you're worried about that sort of stuff, if you're really, really worried about data, the only way around it is to build these models, train these models within your four walls. And you can do it. It's a little bit more expensive to do that, but you can train these models to actually to live within your own business, and then it doesn't get shared anywhere. It just stays within your four walls. So you can do that, but do know that most of these, I would say on the data privacy, I'm not a lawyer, so don't take my word for this, but I would say the easiest thing is read the data privacy issues. Like, read them before you start using a tool. Read it, see what it says. Is my information shared? Is it not shared? Where's my data going? Right. So, and the last thing we hear a lot about is job security. Am I going to lose my job? What's going to happen? No. I do believe that, people that are actually using AI will replace people that are not using AI. I do believe in that. I think as employees are hiring, or as we're looking to add to the teams and stuff, like, we're looking for people that can use these tools for sure. But we haven't seen any disruption in our markets yet. Will it happen? Maybe in some industries, for sure. In some industries, we'll see it. But they're not replacing workers today. They're more of a tool. It's a tool in your tool belt that you can use. Okay. So I wouldn't necessarily worry that side of it. So I know we're about an hour into. We're gonna do a quick little brain break. We're gonna have a little bit of fun, and then if there's questions, pop them into the chat. But I'm gonna have a little bit of fun. What I did is I asked ChatGPT to create some jokes for us. So I said, hey, we're doing a webinar, a couple-hour webinar. We need a little bit of break in between. Can you create some jokes? I apologize right now. These are total dad jokes. So I warn you guys ahead of time. So the first joke it came up with is, why did the robot go on a diet? So that's the first joke it first came up with. And it said, because it had too many bites. I warned you it was a dad joke. So the other one was, why was the computer cold? It left its windows open. And the last one was, you guys can use these if you want. You can share them with. What's an AI's favorite type of music? Algorithm and blues. You know, it's funny that when I did this, went down a rabbit hole, is that there's actually a YouTube channels that are 100% AI driven jokes. So you can actually go, it's almost like you're watching a comedy club, but it's all comedy created by a large language model like a ChatGPT. There's actual channels out there that do that. So it's crazy. I literally just wanted some lighthearted jokes to kind of break up the talk, but it's interesting that there's actually people using this on a full-time basis. So there's another question: is the paid version better for privacy? No, there's not. There's no difference on when it comes to privacy. When it comes to ChatGPT, there's not. You can turn off the sharing if it's a free version or not. You can turn off the sharing of it. Maybe I haven't run into, I'm just trying to think, I don't think I've run into any tools or models where the paid version is giving me more or less privacy. The paid versions give you a little bit more bells and whistles. So typically, if it's a video tool or an image tool, it allows you to create it faster, longer video. You don't wait in queue. It gives you more editing. Like, it gives you more of those the added benefits. It doesn't necessarily give you the tools of privacy. Sorry, it doesn't change the privacy settings or anything like that. So, I know we're about we got about 45 about 45 minutes left. I do want to, just before I jump into the tools, again, if there's any questions, pop them into chat. If someone needs to go grab a glass of water or top up your coffee or whatever, please do. And I'll just keep going for sake of time, obviously. But we're gonna try to show you. I'm gonna show you some tools, some AI in action. So what people are doing in the real world with AI, and then we're gonna demo some tools. There was a question, Patrick. How about predictive AI for guest traffic forecasting or revenue forecasting optimized for ski resorts? We'll talk about that in a second, Patrick, as well. In one of the workshop, so the workshop on the 30th, we're actually going to be hands-on doing kind of exactly what you're asking. That's what the actual workshop will be about. Today was more sort of general knowledge around AI, but I am going to be doing a little bit of showing you sort of how to do some of this stuff. But the workshop itself, because that question is an absolutely amazing question. It's exactly the way you guys should be thinking on how to use these tools. For people that didn't hear, again, it was how does using predictive AI for guest traffic forecasting or revenue forecasting optimized for ski resorts? So that's an awesome question. So we might want to touch on a little bit today, but we might want to park it for the 30th, because that's what the workshop's going to be on, is actually doing that sort of stuff. But I'll show you how to do, I'll show you briefly on how we can do some of that stuff. But let me show you some AI in action. So these are actual companies or tools that are out there and how they're being used. And I'm showing this more from the fact that I want you guys to start thinking about how you can start using these tools, right? Think big with this stuff. So some of them you might have seen. Maybe this will be the first time you see some of them. So big growth right now in AI is AI influencers. So what you guys are looking at is an actual AI created influencer in Barcelona, created by an ad agency. If you guys look at her followers, she has 350,000 followers. This isn't a real person. This is an actual AI generated influencer. Her name is Aitana Lopez. This is what she looks like. She doesn't have pink hair. I just checked to change her hair. Now she's not pink anymore. Here's what her posts are. So she's in posts. So you can find her at a local restaurant, at a yoga club, wearing an Arc'teryx jacket or whatever. This influencer is making 10,000 euros a month as a virtual influencer. Not a real influencer. Well, I shouldn't say, is she real? I don't know. So it's a virtual created influencer, AI influencer, that was one of the first ones out there. Massive growth, like $1 billion industry now, because what H&M just announced, they're developing 30 influencers. What the benefit is that now they can control that message, right? They can put the person in any situation they want. They can control the message. It's obviously going to be more cost effective for them. So we've experimented. We launched an AI influencer. So this is Elle. It's Elle in Kelowna. It's Kelowna's first AI influencer. She's only a couple weeks old. She has 146 followers. She's fairly new. We're doing partners with local companies at no charge. So this is a coffee called Tug 6 Coffee. They sent us the image in the background, and then we used an AI tool to, when I say we, that Pamela is doing this. So Pamela's led the charge, who's on the call, of creating this using a product called RenderNet, is what the product's called. And so these ones, so the yoga studio and so forth. So the client would send us an image, and then we would put L within the post. And what we're doing is it's backed by a human. So if there's comments, the first post, we got a lot of comments, negative and positive for sure. Like, we knew what we're getting into. But we go and answer them all and how we use them. So this is a way, couple things. One, for us, we wanted to experiment with the tools. That's part of what we feel our role is, experiment with these tools. But the other part is, now we're giving an outlet to these brands that are small brands that maybe can't afford an influencer, can't afford a traditional influencer. Now we're giving them an opportunity to actually work where the businesses love it. You see these top 3 posts are all local businesses, and we're going to be doing more and more of them. So this is a really neat. So you can start. This is real life. This is how AI is being used in the real world. Okay, AI influencers. If you have any questions on that, please drop it in chat or connect with me afterwards as well. So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is, you guys are probably familiar growing up. You see the iconic Coca-Cola Christmas ads. Most people have seen a Coca-Cola ad. So this ad, I'm going to play it for you guys. It's only about 30 seconds, and then we'll kind of chat about it in a second. Holidays are coming, holidays are coming, something magic. So that ad was Coke's latest ad this past year, 100% AI generated. So probably spend previous years hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars creating ads. Now they created this using, I think they used a couple of different AI products, but probably fraction of the cost and fraction of the time. It's interesting though, they tried to do the right thing and told people that it was AI generated, and they got a lot of backlash. How dare you take an iconic brand and use AI? And so, but it's funny because I feel like they were trying to do the right thing of saying it's AI generated, but they got the backlash when I assumed if they wouldn't have said anything, no one would have made any comments about it. So, but you see that now when I say leveling the playing field, Coca-Cola is using these tools to create a video that all of us on the call could create the same video using AI tools. So we're leveling the playing field there. Oops. Why isn't it sliding to the next slide here? Oh, I think my computer froze. I might have to just stop sharing here because it looked. Oh, there we go. So the other thing is I mentioned that you can create avatars. So this is a product, I believe this is Synthesia it's called, but these are avatars. So these are actual models that have been turned in. So what you're seeing is not, it's not a human speaking this is an avatar speaking back and forth and having a conversation.
Hello, this is Jin's table.
I'd like to book a table for 2 this Saturday.
Unfortunately, dinner this Saturday is fully booked. Lunch is still available though.
Glad to hear that. I was gonna ask for lunch anyway.
Hello.
So these are like, again, just want to show you a quick little glimpse. Avatars are big. A lot of people are using it. I'm not there with the avatar. I feel like I'm going to still try to do it live in person as much as possible. I'm hanging on to that part of it. But there are use of avatars of, putting it on people's websites, being able to book, interact with it as well, or being able to create content. right? So you could create an avatar of yourself that does the snow report every morning. You would literally just feed it the script, feed it the information, and it would read it as well. So you can create content that way as well. What you're looking at, I touched on, is image creation. These are images that were created in a tool called Midjourney. Again, very, very realistic. You wouldn't even know that they were not real images. ChatGPT launched. I've been playing around. I wanted to show you guys. So ChatGPT has launched a new image creation model. They used to use DALL-E, which I hated. It was very cartoony. I didn't like it. It never got words right. It never did any. So what you're looking at is I prompted on the left. I prompted and said, could create, these are just fictitious. Could you create a magazine cover for a new magazine I'm launching called Cute Animals? Come up with the headings, everything, and this is what created. It literally in real time created a magazine cover that I think is pretty cool, that it created in real time. On the right, what you're seeing is I fed it a website and said, can you create can you use this as a model and create me a mock-up for a homepage for a new bakery? Again, just fictitious, and put product images and some wording in it, and it created the design of the homepage for me. Like that's where, and again, with a prompt, and my prompt wasn't great, but just to show the tools of how advanced these are to be able to create. If you need a poster, you need to do a post, you need to like write it, you do an ad. These tools can create this stuff for you. And again, these are based off very little prompting, but it's the new tool that's built into ChatGPT that's doing this. But there's the other side. I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's the downside of AI image creation or video is you don't know what's real or what's fake, right? So these images were really popular for a while, where there was pictures of the Pope everywhere wearing these puffy jackets, and I mean, obviously you probably look at this and go, you maybe know it's not real, but you start thinking about the fact that when you're seeing this stuff out there, you don't know what's real and what's fake. So you have to be careful. You definitely have to be careful. And I think I did a post on LinkedIn about this about a month ago, saying that we control this. The humans control this, right? So if we're putting out fake information, we have no one to blame but ourselves. The tools aren't doing it by themselves, right? So we need to use these tools responsibly. Okay. Oops. So I'm going to jump in the last little while here and actually demo some tools and actually play around with showing you what the power of these tools are, and answer a little bit of the question about forecasting, revenue forecasting, optimizing. I just want to show some of what you can use these tools for. And at the end, I have some prompts that I'm going to share with you guys that you guys can do on your own as well, as a takeaway. And remember that we will be sharing the deck with you as well. So the first one I'm going to demo a little bit is what you can do within ChatGPT. So to me, ChatGPT is the Swiss Army knife of large language models. It's the one that kind of does everything well. It doesn't do everything great, but it does everything well. It's the one I use on a day-to-day basis because, like I said, it does a little bit of everything for me. So I'm going to pop over. Hopefully can you guys see my tab now, the ChatGPT tab? Yeah, perfect. Cool. So this is, I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I do a whole class on just prompting in ChatGPT. Just for sake of time, I'm going to show you some of the tools. If you haven't been on ChatGPT in a little bit, even days, it's changed a lot. So one thing you can do is, if you didn't know that, you can connect to Google here. So you can connect your Microsoft OneDrive. So the cool thing about why I was excited when these came in here, or you can upload things from the computer, is it can start interacting on your day-to-day basis a little bit. So you don't have to, it never used to be able to connect. I think where this is going is they're starting to turn these into agents, where now you'll automatically be embedded into your email and your Google Drive, your Microsoft, and you'll be able to use it that way. It's getting there. Christopher's question about, is it real time? So there's a little search function. When I hit search, now it's actually given me real information, today information. I don't know if we want to look at this report today for people that are following what's happening in the world. Obviously, not a good report for the stocks, but it will give you real-time information. Okay, not a good chart. We don't want our profits to look like that either. Okay, so you can do deep research. So if you actually want to go, and you see that I have the $20, also the $30 paid version, it gives me 10 of these a month. What deep research is, it will jump into like, it'll think more. And I'm going to show, if we have time, I'm going to show you, it actually will stop and think, the model. I see how quickly it gave me back the answer. But with this, if I hit deep research, it'll give more thought to it. So it takes a little bit longer, but it takes a little bit more thought. Remember, I do want to show you, remember when I said that when I searched this, the sources, so this is where it pulled the information. Investor, New York Post, CBS News, Market Watch, like it tells you where it's pulling the information from if you click it, which is pretty cool. So if you're wondering where it's getting information from, it'll tell you that. And then the last one that literally just got released, which is really cool, is create image. So if you click create image, I'm not going to do it because it actually takes a while it doesn't always create it quick. But now this is a new, very photorealistic model that will put words on it. It never used to do that. So if you ask it to create something and actually put words on it, like a poster or whatever it be, like I showed you that magazine cover, it'll actually, most of the time, you'll get it bang on for you. You'll get it right for you, okay? I'm going to come back to ChatGPT, but I just want to show you two other ones, and I'm going to come and play around and show you a couple of things on ChatGPT. The other one is Claude. So I really like Claude. I just have the free plan. If you're using Claude, or sorry, if you're doing a lot of writing, Claude is great. If you haven't tried Claude, I recommend you do for writing, like for blog posts and content for your websites or whatever. It's really good. It's an awesome tool. And now the downside of Claude never went online. It does now. So the new model, I believe this 3.7 actually will go online now, which is really cool. As you see, it looks pretty similar to what ChatGPT looks like. They're all laid out the same as you go into them. I hid the column here, but you can see that they all kind of look the same. But if you want to use one that's a little bit more text driven or content driven, Claude's great. And the last one to show you for large language models is Perplexity. If you haven't used Perplexity, Perplexity is great for searching. So if I ask it, I'm going to say, which ski resorts, should I visit when I take a trip? Come on, Robbie, learn how to type. UBC. I'm just going to say whatever. But we're just curious on what it's going to say. Let's see what it comes up with. So this is a real good search. So it's telling you what it's doing. And again, I don't pay for Perplexity. So it's telling you where it's searching, where it's reading. You see where it's reading. I'll come back to it. But it's actually searching now all these different places, and it's going to come back with the top ski resorts in BC. And they're no particular order. They're not ranked in any particular order, but it's going to come back and then it's going to ask me if there's other things that I want to search. What about if I want to search for beginners? It will give me images. So this will actually pull images of the resorts as well, and then it gives me all the sources. So on the snow, ski resort, adventure awaits, Wikipedia. It's pulling a whole bunch of different, and it's making decisions. That's what these models do. It's going to make a decision based, but you see how it pulled Reddit here as well. So it's making decisions based on information that it's finding. There's a whole bunch of different ways that it's searching here, right? So it's a lot of people are using Perplexity as a replacement for Google searches. Okay. I don't want to spend a lot of time on just showing you guys searches, but so one of the things I do want to show, because it was questions that was asked, what you can do with ChatGPT is you can ask it to analyze large amounts of data. Okay, so I did pull some reports. My download, sorry. So there's a report here. It's this report here. So I just found it on the website and pulled it. So what I can do is I can throw that into ChatGPT and ask it to analyze their summary. Can you give me a summary of the attached report? Or I'm going to say for a presentation that I am giving to my leadership group or leadership team. So you don't have to put that, but you'll see that it's now going to read the document and it's going to come back with a summary of the report. So that was, I don't know what it was, a 40, 50 page document. And it's going to give me just the highlights. So bang, it's like within seconds, within minutes, it's given me a full highlight of that report. Right now, I can say specifics. I can say, hey, give me more information on ski area operations or whatever it may be. So you can see that it can take a large amounts of data and be able to give me really good sort of recap. And you can say you can say make it shorter. You can you can do whatever you want. Right. It also, we don't have time to, but you can. I'll show you a tool. But now I can actually take that and create a presentation. So I can say, yeah, great. Now I can say, take this information and put it into another tool I'll show you in a sec. It's called Gamma, and build the whole deck for me. And it'll build the deck for you. So summarize to deck that quickly, right? So question about revenue forecasting. So I have a fictitious, just give me 1 second. I just downloaded a fictitious financial statement. So there's a financial statement here. It's not a real one. I just downloaded. Say, can you please, there's me saying, please analyze the financial statement and give me a sense of what you see for opportunities or issues. And you can ask whatever. Like I'm just giving it a quick little prompt just for sake of time. So now it's going to go into the financial statements. It's going to read the document, come back and give me information about what it sees, where there's opportunities, issues, problems, whatever. Here's a financial health check. So now think about if you had information, ski information, whatever it may be, you can put this in here and ask whatever questions you want. And for me, it's not, don't just ask it to say, give me a recap. Say, give me where do you see opportunity? Am I missing something? Is there something I'm not seeing for, like, is there an issue? Right? So if you look at this, it's healthy increase, but issues to watch: high expense to revenue rate, spending outpacing income. Like, and some of this stuff you might already know. I get it for sure, but this is, you can see the power of putting information in here now and asking it data. So if you have skier information, you could put it in here and it'll give you information. The real cool thing is you can actually create a live dashboard that will be analyzing the information in real time for it as well, right? So you can, and we'll do at the workshop, we'll actually do some real life analysis of information on it, okay? So you can kind of see how this tool can really start, being powerful for you, not just sort of the fun, create an image. Well, one thing I should show you guys, I mentioned about turning off sharing. I believe it's, if you go to two things, actually, I should show you. One thing you can do is customize your ChatGPT. I don't know if you knew this. Let me go back and show you where that is. You hit the little icon up here where your name is, customize ChatGPT, and then you can give it a name. You can give it what you do. You can ask it traits. You can say, I want it to be witty, chatty. It'll actually start, and what it starts doing now is it starts, as it's responding to you and giving you answers, it's using this all the time, right? So it's almost like you're training it. So I don't know if you knew that, but you can actually do that as well. It's setting. But if you go into settings, data controls, and right here where it says improve the model for everyone, if you just turn this off, then it's not going to share your information. Okay, so if you see that again, hit the icon, hit settings, data controls, and then you can turn this off. And if I turn it off, any information I put on there doesn't get shared. Okay, so if you're worried about, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if anyone has the free version, if you can check it, I'm pretty sure that you can still access it that way. It has to be from desktop. Your mobile is a little bit different, but I'm 99% sure you'll be able to shut off those settings. What happens to the data you enter or load into the model? So good question. So what they use is that this is how these models learn. So any information you load into these models, it uses to learn is what it does. So I can't go in and say, can you give me Pamela's tax returns? Like, it's not going to give me that information back, even though she loaded her tax returns in it, but it's using it to train the model is what it's doing. So it's using your information. Now, this is where the whole issue came out when AI came out in ChatGPT, because ChatGPT would have been trained on information that we've all put into the World Wide Web, right? That's the whole issue that when it first came out is saying, well, who owns this data? Where did it train from? That's how it's training. It's training because it's searched, like the video model is trained from all the videos that are in the world, right? From YouTube, whatever it may be as well. But right now, any data that I put in here and I don't shut that off, it's learning to train. It's using it to train the model. And that's where this big push is right now with ChatGPT or OpenAI, the parent company, is really fighting against DeepSeek, which is the new model, because they're saying that it's owned by the Chinese government and they're scared the information's going elsewhere. So I would say, again, I always say, don't put anything in here that you wouldn't just hand out to be like, don't share highly confidential information in here, because I can't give you with certainty that it's not going somewhere, right? I'm just saying, if you're okay, if you're worried about it, just turn that sharing off, and then you won't worry about it.
Rob, if I can interject here, I think some of the questions that are coming up through chat, and not to put Rob in the spot here, but we'll make a commitment to just get a little bit more guidance for spring conference around this, just because we have had previous guidance, particularly in things like legal matters, that just as you've identified in terms of what goes on there, and while we recognize that the toggle to be able to turn things off at the same time, the whole nature of it still feeds on itself and it still informs. 100%. So to the group, we will get as much up-to-date information as we can for spring conference, just to address that, recognizing some of the past presentations where, particularly in the legal, but also in other areas, it's been really ironclad, do not use these platforms with that material. But we'll, like Rob said, it's changing so quickly, but we'll bring that forward for spring conference. So, sorry to interject, Rob.
No, it's okay. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. All right, so continue on just to make sure, just cognizant of time here. So the other tools I wanted to show is that at the start, people probably saw a lot of the AI agents that came into, or models that came in, or whatever, assistants, I guess I should say, that came into the call. Again, if you're not using an Otter AI or a Fathom, I recommend you do. So I assume most people on the call might know what these are, but just for if you don't, so what these are is the ability for you to record and transcribe calls. So I think I still see some people's AI or Otters or Fathoms in the meeting. So what it's doing is it's recording the call right now. And then what happens at the end of the call, this should pop into mine, the back end of mine. So at the end of the call, it's actually going to give me a recap of the call. So this is a presentation of free webinar we did last week. We recorded. So again, it's given me a full recap of it. It's given me introductions, all the slides, the to-do list. I can query it, so I can ask it. I can ask it a question about what the information is. It could send it out to everybody on the call if you want. So you can say after the call, a to-do list and an action item and a recording of the call can get sent to everybody. You can integrate, you can share it from here. You can see, you can share them from here. Did I not show everybody? There, now you can see it. I think I didn't hit share the tab. So this is, sorry, the back of my Otter AI. So this is what it would look like. So the people that actually came in, the recap of it, and I can share it here, or I can ask it questions and so forth as well. Fathom works the exact same way. It's the same sort of tool. I think it's almost a must nowadays because I'm bad. I'm not a details person. So I love these tools because after a call, I can get the notes from the call. I can get the transcription from here. So you can get the whole transcription out of here as well. I do recommend, obviously, if you're recording, you're asking whoever you're having the call with if it's okay that you record the call. Obviously, right? To me, I think it's a common thing that we should always do. Most people are okay with it because they can get a copy of this recording as well. So again, the neat thing about this is that it gives you some real good action items of it as well, because you don't have to worry about, oh, what did I say I was going to do? Or what did I assign to Pamela? Like this will give you, it actually will record and give you, and you see that when there's people in it, it'll actually record based on who's talking. You'll know that, like if Tim's in it, he was a guest presenter that did the call with me. So you can see that, it switches over to him here and so forth, and it's all recording. Okay. And Fathom works the exact same way. Fathom actually ties in if you use If you use Zoom a lot, that's where Fathom sort of started. It will integrate. You see, it works with Teams. It works with everything. A lot of these tools now will actually have its own built-in recording as well. They're just not as robust as these. And again, Otter, I don't pay for. I've never had to pay for it. The only downside of the unpaid version of Otter, it only records up to a certain amount of time and then it'll stop. So if you use it a lot, you might have to get the paid version of it. Okay. I want to show you Midjourney. If you guys are creating images, Midjourney is an awesome tool. I do have the paid version of Midjourney. So these are like, it literally will, it's a text to image creation. It's pretty powerful. It's ChatGPT has it built in now. I might not keep Midjourney based on, but you can kind of see that, you know, I've been playing around, like even as simple as I was curious if I gave it very little prompting. I said camel scenic scene, and this is what it created. You see, it's not photorealistic, but I can ask it to make it photorealistic. So you can see the power of what this tool works, and it's literally just a prompt tool. So you literally would just prompt it, and it would create all these images. So I used it for all my LinkedIn posts, and then I even had a cat driving. Why? I don't know, because I was bored probably one day and created a cat driving. But you can start seeing sort of the tools that they can create in here. Okay, sorry, the images they can create in here. Chatbots. For those that don't have a chatbot on your site, Dante, well, you can create literally a chatbot and train it and have it launched within, I'm not even kidding you, within like minutes. It's actually, if you guys don't have a chatbot right now and you want to use a really easy entry-level tool to create chatbots on your website, it's an amazing tool. You can use it for free. It gives you, I think, 500 questions a month at no cost. You could put your website into it. It'll train on your website, and you can have it launched within minutes. It's a really easy tool to use. I try to show tools that are cost effective, easy to use, don't need coding. You'll see sort of, you can pick color, brand colors, whatever it may be. There's lots of other chatbot tools out there, but this is the most cost effective and I would say the easiest one to use. And you can have it integrated into your website within, I bet you if you spent half hour, you would have a website, or you'd have an AI agent / chatbot built into your website. Super easy. Gotta remember to keep switching the tab. A couple more I want to show you guys. Designer, if you guys create PDFs, so if you actually ever create like PDFs or lead gen, more, I would say more for you guys, maybe even from a PDF perspective, you can use what's called Designer. And what it does is you can actually upload text into it and it'll design a whole PDF for you. So these are, and you guys can have these are actual a PDF ebooks that we created. So when you get the slide deck, you can download these. So this would have been using Designer. So we would have uploaded the text. So Pamela did this using Designer, and then it creates a full PDF design laid out with images, everything ready to go. Now you got to go in and edit it a little bit, but you can see that with literally of a click of a button, you can have PDFs designed for you. So if you want to use as lead magnets, or if you just want to use it for internal documents, you have an HR manual that you need designed, you can throw it in here, click a button, and it would design. You can even get your own branding and your own images and so forth in here as well. But you see, it's really that easy to be able to create PDF documents. So you don't have to have any design skills, and it'll do it for you. Oops, I didn't show it to you guys, sorry. This is the document, I apologize. So this is a design document that you guys can download once you get the deck. Okay. I remember to keep doing this. If you're doing video, I won't go into these, but two or three video ones that you guys can play around with. CapCut. CapCut is really a all-in-one video editing tool. So if you need some simple videos edited, CapCut is amazing to use, super easy to use. Again, you don't need to know, you don't need to have any video editing skills whatsoever. The other one is Descript. The cool thing about Descript is that you can load up your video. If you have a video you're recording, you can throw it into Descript. And if you say too much, you just go into the transcript and delete the and it'll record the voice and delete your out of it completely. like, or if you said a word wrong, you mispronounced the word, you just change the script and you'll automatically use your voice to redo it. It's a really cool tool for video editing. To me, these are probably the two leading ones that I would use from an ease of use and what it can do. What Descript can also do is take your video and create short social media segments for you as well, if you want to create social media segments as well out of it. But it's a really neat editing tool for you guys to use. If you want to create your avatar, if you really want a second of you, HeyGen's the one to use. It's really, again, easy tool to use. You go in, you got to record a 5-minute video of yourself. It walks you through, even gives you the script to read. Once you created it, you basically can just load up text and it'll read it. Your avatar will read it. Like, it's that's how easy it really is. And I apologize. I know I see you take time. I'm going a little bit quicker through these tools. But if anyone has any questions about these tools, you're going to have my contact at the end. Reach out. I'm happy to talk about this stuff anytime, and even chat offline on how you can use some of these tools as well. But if you want to create an avatar, HeyGen is the leader. You can create an avatar of yourself. And then you can load it up, and you can. There's a company out of the U.S. that they do their annual financial reporting to their shareholders using an avatar. He loads up the report, puts it into his avatar, and it does the talk for him, which is kind of cool. And you can even train it to answer questions, which is kind of cool as well. So, one that I want to show you is Notebook LM. So I'm not sure many people have actually used Notebook LM. It's a Google tool. It's absolutely amazing. It's like the coolest tool that you can use. I think I love using it. It's free right now as well. And if you actually have the Google platform, it's actually built into it now. So what it does, what Notebook LM can do is that, so this is what the backend looks like. What it does is it actually will take large amounts of information and really decipher it into manageable consumable information for you. Okay, so if I hit create new, I'm just going to use your guys' website. So you can upload documents. I just have the website loaded here. Just give me 1 second. So I've loaded up your website, Christopher. So I loaded it into here, and I'm going to ask it to learn off their website now. So what it's going to do is it's going to give me a full sort of recap of who you are, what you guys do. Think about large format documents. You can load up a 100-page document in here, and it would give a full recap of it. The cool thing of it is now I can actually hit a generate button here, and it's actually going to create a podcast. So it's going to create a podcast to actually teach the information or tell me the information back to me. Okay, with full voices. There'll be 2 voices. I'm going to let it play. I'm going to let it do, and I'm going to come back and play it for you guys. But it's a really cool tool. We've actually created a full podcast on here. I'm just going to skip away from it. So this is a podcast called The AI Advantage that we've created using large documents. So we load up a large document in here. And then when we hit play, this is what you're going to hear is the AI generated podcast based on the document that I loaded up.
Rob, we cannot hear it.
I wonder why. He says you should be able to. Still couldn't hear that? Interesting. I did put share this tab instead. I'm not sure why it's not playing. I might have to share it. You guys might have to just listen to it. I apologize when you get the deck, but I thought you could hear it because the other ones worked. I wanted to play your guys' website. I'm hoping. Do you guys see the Notebook LM tab? Let's see if this works. This is your Canada West Ski Area Association podcast we just created. Did that work at all? I wonder why. Oh, I apologize. Look at that. The demo, of course, technology doesn't work when we want it to work, but I created a podcast basically about Canada West Ski Area Association that has 2 voices. I'll share it with everybody afterwards because I don't know why it's not playing. That's interesting why it's not playing. Well, I'll try it again. Maybe I'll even try it at the end to stop sharing and share back in and see if it works because I am sharing the tab. I wonder why it's not working I will try to do it before we end here to see if I can get you guys to hear what I did. But it created, within a click of a button, I got a full podcast created that you guys can use. Okay, or you can use it to just put it out into the world, or you can use it as a knowledge base as well, right? So the other tool I wanted to show you guys, again, just take
We have a question about audio. So what's the most realistic voice tool to do voiceovers?
Good question. What have we used in the past? So for creating audio, Suno.
Jenny was pretty good.
Which one?
Jenny.
Oh yeah, Jenny. Yeah. That's a good one. If you maybe want to pop, do you want to pop that link into? Do you want to find the link and pop it into the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's probably the best one to do voiceovers. If you're looking to create pure audio, suno.com is awesome. I think it's .com. It's an amazing tool to create audio, create full jingles, songs. You can upload your own lyrics and so forth. But yeah, the one that Pamela's put it into here is probably the best one. That's good call, Pamela. Thanks for, and she'll put it into the chat for you guys. If you're looking to create PowerPoints, Gamma is amazing. So what Gamma does is you can actually just load a document into Gamma, and it will actually create a whole PowerPoint for you. So again, I'm going to just use, you guys can probably, hopefully you guys can see my as I'm importing. So I put create new. I'm going to import a file. I'm just going to grab a PDF, that PDF of that I had here, that large PDF that I was showing you guys. It might take a minute here to upload, so I'm just going to let it upload, and by the time we end, I'll have it. And then literally I'll say create the PDF or a presentation, and it's going to create this whole slide deck for you guys. Okay, so here we go. So I uploaded that presentation. You can create it as a presentation, a document, social, whatever. I'm going to say a presentation. It's going to start thinking. It's going to say, is this the right information? The whole 9 yards. Again, I'm just going to say yes. I'm not going to go and edit anything because of sake of time. I can pick a theme, whatever theme I want to pick in here. You can say I want a professional theme. I want it this color, whatever you want to do. And then as soon as I hit generate, it's actually going to now generate the deck for me based on the information that was in the previous. And you can actually, so in real time, it's developing the deck for me to use. It's a whole slide deck for me to use. So in every slide, so you can start seeing, and then I can go in and edit. I can go change the pictures, but it's creating, and you can present right out of here if you want. So see how quick, literally on a couple clicks of a button, I took a large PDF and created a presentation within a couple clicks of a button. Pretty amazing, right? With graphics and the whole 9 yards. Now, again, human in the loop, you got to go in and edit, make sure it's the right, you can upload your own brand, you can do, but I love this tool. Like, it's an amazing tool, and you can present right from here as well if you want. And Pamela dropped in that tool for voiceover. Okay. Share this tab, a couple more here, and then I'll leave. So the last one, I won't play this one. I just want to show you guys. So this is a company out of Vernon, actually, owned by Tim Bieber, who created an AI receptionist. So you could call the demos in here. You literally call and it would actually answer the phone. It's an AI voice that answers the phone. You could book a meeting. It'll answer questions. It'll tie right into your calendar, and they will say, "Hey, Rob, I just booked a meeting for 2 o'clock tomorrow with Christopher for you. Here it is. Here's the information." So it's that it walks through the whole part of sort of the presentation for you, or the whole interaction with you. Okay. Couple more tools I've added in here for you guys to play around with it. If you use ChatGPT, I encourage you to use these 3 tools. They're all free. They're GLASP, Quillbot, and DeepL. So DeepL does translations. So if you ever looking to translate into other languages, French, English, Italian, Spanish, it's amazing, and it's almost like bang on every time. So we use a translating service, and they're like blown away about the quality that it does. It's a great tool to use. It's actually built right. You can actually add it to your ChatGPT. Quillbot is a spell check. There's other ones called Grammarly and all that. Quillbot's my favorite. Again, they're free. downloads are free. And what GLASP is, GLASP ties into YouTube. So what it does, I'm going to show you guys real quick because it's a really cool tool. So I'm just going to go to my YouTube channel and just pull, doesn't matter, pull a video. So here's the video, and what it would do is that you see up here, that's GLASP now. So once I've integrated, so it will summarize the video. So it'll pull full, this is the full transcript of the video for me now, or I can pull the video transcription into ChatGPT. So what it's doing now is it's pulling that full transcription into ChatGPT for me. So now I can ask it questions. I can ask it to summarize it. I can ask it to build a deck out of it. So it took a whole long video, transcribed it, click of a button, and off it goes. And it's giving me timestamps and all that. So just little tools you can use, again, to help your day-to-day, okay? Oops. I'm going to skip this one because I see we have 4 minutes. It's fine. I can talk about it another time with you guys when we do this. But I do want to just show a couple other things for the sake of time. Is that there's some free tools in here that we put. I'm going to skip. I already showed you these videos. This is the robot I mentioned to you. This is Figure 2. So these robots are in production right now. I'm going to shut off the volume. That you can actually, by the end of next year, you'll be able to buy one of these robots for $20,000 and have it in your home. Like by the end of 2026, these will be in your home, shoveling your driveway, making you dinner, doing your laundry. And we're there. Like these robots, like you can see right now, like these robots will put away groceries. Now they're moving slow, they're getting better, but this is a real video. Like this isn't like it's going to come in 20 years. The company's called Figure 2 if anyone's interested in having a look at it. So I do have some prompts in here for you guys. So this is prompts that you can use. You'll see in here, I'm going to skip through this, prompts here that you can use that if you want ChatGPT to analyze your website and give you an audit, where it says your website, obviously you would put your website in here. So if you put this prompt into ChatGPT and put your website there, it's going to analyze your website and come back with a full report for you. So it's going to give you, it's going to look at your SEO, your content, where there's opportunities, where you can do better and all that sort of stuff. So the step one, I put it into ChatGPT where it says your website, put your website. Then once it's come back to you, stick this one in there. This is to create a blog calendar for you. It's going to take the information it learned from the first audit, and it's going to create a full SEO blog calendar for you. Okay, so these are you're going to step this. Once it gives you that answer, put this one in there for you. Again, you guys can have all these, try them. It's going to create an actual full blog for you, the actual with best practices and whole 9 yards. And the last prompt is you're going to give it is to create a social media calendar for you. Okay, so these 4 prompts you guys can have. They've been optimized. We use them all the time in the agency. Take these where it says information where you need to fill in your own information on there. Okay, and you guys can use those prompts. And the last thing is you have a free resource here. There's a whole bunch of other prompts I'm giving you guys. So it's a whole guide on how to effectively prompt ChatGPT and prompts you can use. You can scan this QR code. You don't have to do it right now. You'll have the deck. You can scan it. You can download a PDF that's going to give you a full recap on how to properly prompt ChatGPT. I would encourage you to do the other ones. You'll be surprised on what it's going to come back. Put your website in there and ask it to do those 4 steps that I gave you. You're going to be surprised on what it's going to come back with. Okay. And I apologize. I know we got 1 minute. I went quickly through those last ones, but I did want to leave. I'm happy to answer any questions. I see there was one, Pamela, looks like you answered it. Thank you. If there's any questions whatsoever, please, I'm happy to answer them. This is how you can connect with me on, takes you to my LinkedIn channel. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I love talking about this stuff. I totally nerd out. So reach out. I'm happy to jump on a Zoom call and talk about, help you, give you tools, any of that sort of stuff. Okay. So please, I know I went through fast on a few of them, but I'm happy to circle back and share anything and give you best practices on any of the tools that you're looking to implement or use. Okay. And I know your brain must hurt that I've talked at you for 2 hours, but hopefully there's some valuable information that you guys got, maybe something you hadn't seen before. And then we'll dig deeper on the 30th on specifically around your guys' business and how to analyze what you guys are seeing from a day-to-day operations side. That's
We
it.
want to hear the podcast.
Oh, I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm gonna try. Sorry, I know. Let me see if this works. So I'm gonna share the tab. Not working. I wonder why. Oh, that's sad.
We'll have it for April. For in April.
I'm gonna stop sharing. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna see if I can do this again. I'm gonna try one more time. I know everyone probably wants to run. I know you've been with me for a long time. So let's see if this.
I can buy you a couple of seconds, Rob, as I wrap up, and I'm not going to be so uncool as to say your email and numbers are available, obviously through the QR code, but that information is available, obviously coming out from both from Canada West if you need any help connecting. But I'm not sure what's more impressive, the opportunities and the tools here to help our businesses or your energy over 120 minutes on a Zoom call. I'm like very, very impressed. That's not easy to do.
I love this stuff. As you can tell, I nerd out. So let's see if this works. I shared. Do you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Try.
CWSA. Yeah, the CWSA.
Yeah.
And we're looking specifically, okay, so
There we go.
today we're doing a deep dive into the Canada West Ski Areas Association.
CWSA.
Yeah, the CWSA.
Yeah.
And we're looking specifically at what we can learn from their website.
Yeah, their online presence, basically.
Yeah, their online presence.
And
Exactly.
their digital footprint.
So it's all coming from
So I mean, they just took the website. You would prompt it better. You can load documents, like literally on a click of a button, it created a podcast. Like that. I don't know if you guys have used Notebook LM, but I would recommend you guys go and play around with it. It's a very powerful tool. And when I'm happy to share it with you guys, but it's literally on a click of a button. Podcasts are created. So very powerful. I love it. I use it all the time.
Amazing. So as we look ahead to April 30th, a lot to play with, keeping in mind that April 30th, the session that Rob is presenting there will be picking up from, it will not be a beginner's class. It'll be jumping right in and very much workshop oriented. So to both Rob and Pamela, a big thank you both very much for your work here. Cynthia, I don't know if there's any other follow-ups, or Dawn, any follow-ups that require, but the information to Czech Creative is available, obviously, in terms of the QR code. And as I mentioned before, if you need any help connecting, please let the Canada West office know. But I think you got all the digits. So
Yeah, we'll send out an email to everybody with a link to the video from today and the resources that Rob mentioned. So that'll all come to you, and we'll also post it within the agenda for the spring conference on the April 30th session, so that if your colleagues were not able to attend today's session but are planning on attending that workshop, they can go and watch this and be prepared if they don't have a lot of experience with AI. So that was what we were kind of hoping to achieve, so we could really dive 2 feet in on the 30th.
well, thank you. And I'm laughing at Steve's question about whether you really are an avatar after those last demonstrations, and I wouldn't put money against it. But to everybody on the call, thank you so much. Good luck with the last days. I know some areas have already closed for the season, and many more over the next week or two. So thank you to everybody there, and many others on the associate side. So glad to see you on the call. I can see Brent's face, and really looking forward to seeing everybody at Spring Conference. Attendance is very strong, and we were actually talking about Brent's gondola carrier as it's being positioned at conference. The conference is allowing us to do a lot of really cool things. So very excited about the event ahead. So we look forward to seeing everybody there.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, Rob.